Hi, my name is Joy. I'm one of the registered nurse clinical case managers here at Accolade. We work with the people with the most medically complex needs and the most logistical barriers. So it's a wonderful job with a lot of challenges. In early May, I made contact with one of our members. Her husband was very ill, and she was very receptive to speak with me. He was a very healthy 65-year-old man who exercised every day, very fit, took good care of himself. In the middle of April, he became violently ill, and the illness ruptured a blood vessel in his brain, which caused him to need a craniotomy, where they remove a flap of skull to allow the brain to expand. The surgery was a success, but he was left with some deficits. He had some difficulty moving one side of his body, like he had had a stroke, but his primary deficit was in his speech and language. He had difficulty processing language, and he was unable to speak. So picture this. You're perfectly intact mentally, and you can move your body, but you can't speak and you can't understand anything anybody says to you. That, to me, just to be locked in like that image of him burned itself into my brain. I couldn't stop thinking about this guy. When I was home, I was thinking, oh my God, what can we do? And the plan was for him to go to an outpatient rehabilitation. That's the standard process. And outpatient rehabilitation would have offered him physical, occupational, and speech therapy. Your standard outpatient speech therapy focuses on how to swallow, how to move the mouth, how to form your tongue into the words. Speech therapy does not focus on the intellectual and cognitive way that we process language. The case manager at the hospital and I had discussed this gentleman, and she had told me about an excellent program that was available in the area called Rehab Without Walls, and it was an intensive immersion in community living with psychotherapeutic intervention and a great deal of the intellectual stimulation, the type of training and treatment that he needed to regain his abilities. But unfortunately, this Rehab Without Walls was out of network, and it cost a little over $5,000 a week, and it is a 10-week program. So that was not something that they could afford. We started working on seeing if we could get this covered as in-network for them. So I reached out to our benefits specialist team, who help work with the health plan and help translate what the benefits are, and they made contact with the health plan to initiate what we call a single case agreement. This took time, and weeks ticked by, and I was very worried, and I asked the wife, how is he coping? What does he do? And she said to me, he sits on the sofa all day. He doesn't want to bother me because he knows I'm working, but he stares at the floor and he picks at the sole of his sneaker. That broke my heart. And I just kept working. And finally, I got the word that the single case agreement was approved. And the same day, the same moment actually, I hung up the phone and I saw a voicemail. And it was from the wife. And her voicemail said, I'm getting really concerned. He's really depressed. What can we do if we're not going to get this single case agreement approved? What can we do? And I was able to call her back and say, we can go. It's a go. He got enrolled in the program that same week, and he began his treatment. I was able to speak with him finally for the first time in the middle of August. This is the first time I ever heard his voice. And I was so emotional. I fought so hard for this man. And, I told him who I was because he didn't know. I hadn't been working with him, I'd been working for him. And he told me, I am a former Marine. And I fight adversity, but I couldn't fight this. And he said, you have been my voice. And he said, thank you for letting me live my life and take care of my family. And he said, words are not enough. And I said, it is my honor to be your voice when you didn't have one.